Welcome everybody to another edition of Unscripted Sports Show. I'm your host, Money E. With my brother Chris. How are you, Chris?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. It was another good week of NFL football. As we wind down on the season, we have 3 more weeks, including this week. Should be There's some good races going on. The number one seed in both conferences. The Bills are trying to chase the Chiefs, and the Eagles are trying to chase the Lions/Vikings because the Vikings are tied of the Vikings are tied to the Lions, but the Lions hold the tiebreaker and they play each other in Week 18. So the number one seed might not be decided until Week 18, which is at this point, I don't care if we get the number one seed or not. Do we hold a tiebreaker versus the Vikings?
No, I think the common opponent is the or I forget who it is. It's either
The
I
Falcons?
think it's the Falcons or the Bucks. It might be the Falcons.
Yeah, and we lost, and that game's gonna haunt us now if we end up don't get us the number one seed. But I don't think the number one seed matters this year.
I think it matters more for them than it does for us.
Yeah, because I think we can go on the road and win in either situation. We did it with the Vikings in 2017. I know that's a completely different team and situation, but this some of those guys are no actually. I think BG is the only one that was on that team, right?
Yep. Yeah.
And he's not gonna be there, but he'll be he would be there in on the sidelines. But yeah, so that's interesting that BG is the only Eagle left from the 2017 championship. Oh, and Lane Johnson.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I forgot about Lane. Um, with that, do you think we will get number one seed?
No. No,
I
that's okay.
don't either. Because based on our predictions later, yeah. But we'll talk about that later in a bit. But last week I had a bad week, 2-6, really bad week, and we went 4-4. So you did. It was some tough picks last week. I went some with some boldy picks here. Let me see. Pull it up. So the Niners and Rams game, that was a snooze fest. I that was the only reason I was watching that is because I had props on that game, and ESPN Bet didn't void the anytime touchdown or first touchdown like FanDuel or DraftKings would. So they don't even have no touchdown. They should have avoided it, but that's not here or there. I don't know why they didn't, but yeah, we
Yeah.
both had the Niners, and the Niners looked like trash. Um, that was a trash game. 12-6, Rams won. Um, yeah, I mean, you could have betted the punt. You could have betted on a punt every drive, and you would probably made some money. What were your thoughts on the game?
I thought it was a good game. Niners look like trash. I agree. So
Yeah,
yeah.
they're nothing without Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah. And Brock Purdy looks like shit. So
Yep. I don't think they move on from him next year, but if he's like this next year, they might have to. I think they give him 1 more year. But again, they had a lot of injuries this year, so you can't really blame it on him either. But next game we can briefly talk about Dolphins and Texans. You got this right. I got Dolphins. I thought the Dolphins were gonna pull this one out. It was a close game. Couldn't get it done at the end. I didn't watch it, but any thoughts on the game? Or do you see any?
No, I don't watch any of this game, but yeah, I saw the highlights.
Yeah. Eagles and Steelers. What were your thoughts on this game?
Eagles. I forget who I chose. I might have even chosen the Steelers.
I think you did. No, I chose the Steelers.
I think I chose the Eagles.
Yeah.
They're just different teams. One team is playing for a championship, another team is just trying to stay relevant. So I don't think any Steelers fan will be lying to you if they actually thought they stood a chance, and if they actually thought they'd have this record this season, especially with like two quarterbacks they're unsure about. So I think they're playing above what their expectations are. So
Exactly.
yeah.
I said it 2 weeks ago that the Eagles will either lose to the Steelers or Commanders. They will split in the next 2 weeks. So just like the Lions did.
Yeah.
Next game, I think it's the Lions. Oh, my thoughts on this game. Eagles played a hard fought game. It was good. It was a good game to watch. The Steelers gave them a fight, but the Eagles put them away at the end. And yeah, I thought it was a good all team around game by the team. No. We both had the Chargers. They look like garbage, and they play tonight. Buccaneers look like they could be a dangerous team in the playoffs.
Yeah.
As the one team, if I had concern about, is the Bucks, because we did not play the Bucks well. For some reason, Todd Bowles owns Nick Sirianni, especially in the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, I do not want to see the Bucks.
Nope. That's the one team, if I had to say I don't want to see, is the Bucks. I think a lot of people would say the Packers, but I'm saying the Bucks. I'm not scared of the Packers.
We already beat them.
Yeah. I think the Packers are good, but I'm not scared of them. I'm not. I don't know why. I just don't trust Jordan Love. I trust Baker Mayfield more than Jordan Love. If that makes sense.
Yep.
Now the game of the year, I think probably the game of the year, the Lions and Bills. The Bills dominated this game, but the Lions fought back, made it even closer than it should have been. But I don't know if I game of the year, but it was a good game. The Bills came out and hit them in the mouth, and the Lions couldn't get up from it. I think the Bills were up 21-7 at one point, or 21-0. The Bills dominated this game. I didn't think they would dominate this much, but wow, very impressive by the Bills. Bills are getting better every week.
Yeah, they look crazy. They look really, really good.
Yep. Josh Allen's playing out of his mind. At this point, it's safe to say he's the MVP.
Yeah, he's running away with it.
Lamar is on his tail, but at this point, Josh Allen is probably the MVP. I don't think they're going to get the number 1 seed either, unless the Chiefs fall short this week, which they have 2 tough games coming up on short weeks. They play tomorrow. They play on Saturday against Texans at home, and I think they play the Steelers on Christmas Day.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
So they could slip up on one of those games. If they slip up, I think it's against against the Steelers for some reason. Or maybe the Texans. Texans are good enough to beat them. But we'll get to those pick. No, I say that's not one of the games we picked though. But I think we did. Oh yeah, we did. And then next game, Raiders. I know Seahawks, and we both had the Seahawks. That was a Seahawks sucked. Falcons and Raiders. Raiders gave them a fight. 15-9 Falcons, and the Bears and Vikings. Nothing much to say about that. The Bears look like trash. The Vikings dominated that game. Any thoughts on the Monday night games?
So boring. So boring. Bears are so
I didn't even bother watching the Monday night games.
Yeah. I watched like a couple of it and I turned it off.
Yeah. I was watching what was I watching? I think basketball. So I was watching college basketball. I forget what I was watching, but I didn't watch any of the Monday night games. I watched it for a little bit because I had some props, but that's it. Any final thoughts on week 15?
Nope, that's all I got.
Or let's get to our picks. Tonight, Thursday night football. This was flexed in. It was supposed to be Bengals and Browns, but this was flexed in. So it's Broncos and Chargers. Broncos are 9-5. Chargers are 8-6. Chargers are -2.5. 42.5 on the over under. I have the Chargers. You have the Broncos. Chargers won the first meeting. I think by 3. I think the Broncos is actually sprinkling someone in the money line. It's actually a pretty good play.
I like the Broncos as well.
I mean, I like the Chargers, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos won.
Yeah, I like the Broncos spread. I don't know if they win, but I think the Broncos. There's some trend there that Chargers always cover in Denver, and Denver always covers in LA or San Diego, whatever you want to call it.
I think the Chargers win because I think they're the more desperate team. But they're trying to get one of the last playoff spots. I think the Broncos are not a lock in, but they're pretty much almost locked in.
Yeah.
Because I think they're the 6. Because I think the loser of the Ravens and Steelers are 5th, and I think the Broncos are 6th, and then the spot number 7 is up for grabs, and I think that's like a couple teams. I think the Chargers, Dolphins, Colts, I forget. I think even the Bengals are still in it. And that's it, I think. And the Dolphins, yeah. But I like the Chargers, but wouldn't be surprised if the Broncos won. It should be a good game, hopefully, because they flipped this game in, so hopefully it's a good game.
Yeah.
And then we get to our 2 Saturday games on Saturday because all these 4 teams play on Christmas Day, I believe. Because I think the Chiefs play the Steelers and Ravens play the Texans. I think
there's 2 Christmas Day games, right?
Yeah, so these 4 teams are actually flipping each other's opponents on Christmas Day. That's why it's these 4 teams. Because it's basically a Thursday is short week. And that's why they put it on Saturday, because it's the same amount of days. But first one, Texans and Chiefs. Chiefs are 3.5-point favorites. I don't like -3.5, but I like the Chiefs here, but I think the Texans could cover here.
Yeah. Yeah, I like the Chiefs. I don't. The Texans are underperforming this year. I feel like I had them best record in the league, and they're not even close to that. So
Yeah, they're the Texans are over or underachieving this year.
yeah, CJ Stroud's still a really good quarterback, but he's not doing what he did last year, which he'll figure it out. But that's typically what happens.
It's only his second year. I want to say he's in the sophomore slump because he's actually having a decent season, but I think CJ just needs more weapons, and he thought they had those weapons, but Diggs went down, and he only has Nico and what's his name? Other guy's name. But if he gets another wide receiver, I think he'll be fine next year. Yeah, I'm not worried about CJ. I think it's just sophomore slump, and he'll figure it out.
Yeah, I think I'll be right.
He needs a better offensive line too.
Yeah, I can't remember if their offensive line is hurt or not, but I don't know if Laramie Tunsil's playing or not, but yeah, their offensive line hasn't been performing that well.
Yeah, the same thing happened when they had David Carr. David Carr did not have an offensive line. I don't know why they never gave him an offensive line because the guy had talent. He was the number 1 overall pick, just like CJ. But he got killed in the NFL.
Yeah, he had the most sacks as a rookie quarterback in NFL history, and they showed that stat on the broadcast. I forget which game, but they showed that.
Yeah. For some reason, the Texans always have these quarterbacks, and they can't protect them. I don't even know if even Watson had a good offensive line.
Yeah, Watson didn't have a good offensive line.
For some reason, the Texans don't invest in offensive linemen, or they just draft bad.
I think a little bit
It's
of
one
both.
of those things where every team has their weakness in their franchise history. For us, it's been, I guess, linebackers. And we've had a few good linebackers here and there, but Trotter and I can't think of another one, can't think of another one on the top of my head, but I think the Eagles, it's always been linebackers and wide receivers because during McNabb's era. But they finally invested in wide receivers, 5 years ago or 6 years ago. But next game, Steelers and Ravens. We both like the Ravens here. I think this is a payback game.
I think Ravens might end up winning the division at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's the Steelers division to win, but if the Ravens win here, I think Ravens win out and Steelers lose one more. Probably to the Chiefs.
Yeah, the Steelers have a tough schedule ahead. They're really tough.
Yep. What else? Next game, the first game. I'm surprised they didn't move this game to 4:00 on Sunday. I'm disappointed they didn't move this game. I'm probably gonna miss most of this game, but Eagles are -3.5. Commanders are +150 on the money line. Over under is 45.5. We will have the Commanders here. I think this is a down. How do I say it? A letdown game. We've been on a roll so much. Commanders are still trying to fight for a playoff spot, so the Commanders need this more than we do. I know we're playing for number 1 home field, but Commanders are still trying to get into the playoffs. They're already in the playoffs.
Yeah, honestly, I'd rather the Eagles lose now than the playoffs because I mean they ripped off 11 straight. If they win this game, I'd see them winning out because I can't see them losing against the Giants and the Cowboys. And that means that we would have won 14 straight heading to the playoffs, which is insane. So it's a good and a bad place to be, going 14 straight into the playoffs. But
I would rather lose the Commanders now because the likelihood we could be playing them again in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And you know the saying, it's hard to be an NFL team 3 times in 1 year,
Yeah.
especially a good quality team.
Yep, I agree.
So I rather lose to the Commanders this Sunday, knowing that there's a very good chance that we play them in the playoffs, and I don't want that lingering over our head that beating a 3 times in one season, one season, because Commanders are good enough to win in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They
are. They're dangerous.
You can't overlook the Commanders. So I'd rather lose Sunday, forget about home field, get some rest for Barkley and Hurst in Week 18, and if we play them, we play them. If we don't, then we don't. But I'd rather not take the chance and play them, have to beat them 3 times in one season, especially a division opponent.
Yep. Yep, I completely agree.
So, and this line says it all, -3.5. I hate those lines, but let's the Commanders at least cover, if not win. Because they were in that game in week, whatever it was, on Thursday night until the second half.
Yep.
It wasn't like we dominated that game in whatever week.
Close start, and it could have completely gone the other way.
Yep, exactly. Vikings and Seahawks. We will have the Seahawks here. I think this is the bounce back spot here. The Seahawks need to win because they're still fighting for a division spot. With the Rams in 9 against the Rams, just the Rams. Plus 136 on the money line, 43.5 over under. Vikings are -3. What do you think of this game?
I like the Seahawks. Yeah, because it's an NFC North team going in an NFC West stadium. Typically, the home team covers. I know we had Seahawks. Who was it? Seahawks and Packers last week, but I can't see Seahawks losing twice in a row, especially at home.
Yeah, the Packers just got off to. They just drove downfield and the Seahawks couldn't recover.
Yeah.
I watched that game. It's like, wow.
Packers are legit.
Are just running down their throats. What were you saying?
I think the Packers are legit. I think they're the biggest threat to the Eagles in the postseason. The Lions are so hurt. I can't imagine the Lions are making a legitimate run. I think if the Packers and the Lions play each other early in the
there's 3 times in one season again.
Yeah.
Because the Lions beat them 2 times.
Yeah, I'm going to see if there's a possibility that they can play each other.
I think the Packers are the 5th seed right now. I think they're locked in the 5th. No.
The 6th.
They're locked in the 6th.
So it can't get any better than that?
Yeah, because the Vikings are 11-2. And they're 9-4.
Okay.
Unless the Vikings lose out and the Packers win out. I think.
Yeah, we can, as it stands right now, if we beat Washington in the playoffs, we could play the Packers in second round, and that's a team I fear the most. So.
Oh, you do? Okay. See, I'm the opposite. I fear the Buccaneers more.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see.
There's just something about the Buccaneers that when we play them, I mean, they would have to come up to Philly, so maybe that's different.
I don't think
we'll go down
play
there.
them,
It's different.
That means that the Bucs have to lose to the Packers.
I don't know. Yeah, there's something about the Buccaneers that scares me.
Yeah.
Even I think with just the history of playing the Buccaneers in the playoffs. Yeah, as of right now, Minnesota is locked in either the 5th or the 1 seed, I think, because they're 12-2. Green Bay is 10-4. Sorry, but yeah, the Green Bay wins out, Minnesota loses out. Green Bay still can get number 5 seed. They could even still get the division if Detroit loses out. So there's still a possibility Green Bay could get number 1. No, I think we own the number 1 seed over them because we beat them. So
Yeah.
I don't know. Next 3 weeks in the NFC is going to be wild. 2 weeks from now, we could be completely talking about somebody else in the 1 seed. So
Yeah, it's still going to come down the wire. Especially, who do the Lions have this week again?
Lions have the Bears, I think. No, is it the Bears? Yeah, it's the Bears.
So they'll probably win, and then who else do they have? They have San Francisco and Minnesota coming up. So I think the standings are going to be really, really close going to the Week 18 game, and I think the division is going to be decided there, and probably the number 1 seed, to be quite honest, will be decided there. So
the Niners game could be the one where they could lose. I know the Niners are banged up too, but the Niners are fighting for a playoff spot themselves and in their division. So it's going to be a wild 3 weeks. But I think it's going to come down to Week 18. Now, speaking of the Niners, you have the Niners, I have the Dolphins. I'm picking the Dolphins again, but this time it's in Miami. Niners have to come cross country. That's a long trip. I think the Dolphins win here.
yeah, I think I don't know, another tough one between Shanahan and an old Shanahan coach. Yeah, this is a complete toss-up for me. Both teams suck. Both teams are underperforming, but yeah, I don't know. It'll be tough, because they're coming across the country. So
it's funny how 1 year makes a difference. These 2 teams were probably 2 of the best last year, and now they're both fighting for a playoff spot this year.
Yep.
It's NFL for you. Next year, the Lions and Eagles could be in the same spot. I know they're both really talented, but you just never know in NFL. One injury after another. Lions have gotten lucky. I don't know how they're doing it with all these injuries. But
it's gonna catch up to them soon.
Yeah, it's catching up. It's catching up big time now because they just lost David Montgomery, and now they're gonna have to force feed Gibbs because they were splitting time, and now Gibbs is gonna be the ball carrier more now. So yeah, the whole point of them splitting with Gibbs and Montgomery was to avoid injury, and Montgomery gets injured.
Yep, we'll see.
Yep, exactly. Next game, Sunday Night Football. Buccaneers and Cowboys. I don't know why they didn't suck this game out, but it's probably because it's Cowboys. I think the Buccaneers are going to go in there and destroy them. What else is there to say?
Yeah, I agree. Especially Cowboys being home underdogs. Not a good sign for them. So
exactly.
Typically get 2 or 3 on the spread just for being at home. So if this was neutral, for example, this would probably be a 5-point spread, 6-point spread.
Yep. If it was in Tampa, it would probably be 7.
Yep.
And then another game, another barn burner on Monday Night Football. Yay. ESPN gave us another great game. Saints and Packers. I think Packers are going to destroy the Saints here. So we're going to see another blowout Monday Night Football game.
Yep.
Yeah. The line says it all, 14.5. I don't usually like the half for 3, 7, and 14, but or even 21, 17, 2. But I think the Packers could win by 3 touchdowns here.
Yeah.
Saints has no offense.
Yeah.
And they're coming up north. They're an indoor team.
Back right now. Because Spencer Rattler got hurt, didn't he?
I think so. So it's back to Derek Carr.
No, Derek Carr's out for the season, I'm pretty sure. It might be Jake Haener, or whoever that guy was.
Oh, wow. That's why it's 14.5. Wow. Yeah.
14.5 is the highest spread we've seen all season, right?
Which one?
14.5 is the highest spread we've seen all season, right?
No, last week was 16.5, the Ravens.
Really? Who do they play again?
The Cowboys. Oh, no, they played the Giants.
Wow. Did the Ravens cover that?
They barely covered. They won by 17, I think, or 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Insane.
Yeah, the Ravens were 16.5 last week. The Saints could get destroyed here. They might not even score a touchdown here. They have no offense.
Yeah. It's going to be really, really ugly.
And it's probably going to be cold. It's Lambeau Field, obviously. The week of Christmas. It may even snow. If it snows,
I can imagine that they're going to try to get out to an early lead and then rest their starters.
Oh, yeah. It could be a bloodbath.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Just like Bills and Niners. It could be similar to that, especially if it's snowing. You have a team down south coming up north with no offense. An indoor team. It is setting up for a blowout. But we've seen crazier things, but I don't think this is going to be the craziest things.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I can see it being a game where it's more competitive than it should be, and then the Packers like backdoor cover or something at the last.
Yeah. Get the backdoor cover the other way.
Yeah.
Well, that's our picks. Our week 15 MVP. We both originally had Jalen Hurts, but I switched mine to Josh Allen. Josh Allen carried that team on Sunday against the Lions, so I think he deserves it here too. And I know why you picked Jalen Hurts, because Hurts basically carried that team too with his performance.
Yep.
If Jalen Hurts had been playing like this all year, we could be talking about 2 MVPs here.
Yeah. Yeah, and he showed that he can be a passer, which I don't know why people thought he couldn't be a passer, because he's shown a lot in the past that he could. But he's a winner at the end of the day, and if the team needs to pass to win, he'll do it. If the team needs to run to win, he'll do it. So we've always been a run-first team, even during the Super Bowl year. So, yeah, exactly. And you have Saquon Barkley, so why wouldn't you run it? So I don't understand all this criticism against the passing game. I mean, Saquon Barkley is on the verge of potentially breaking the rushing record. I don't think he will, but he's close.
How many yards does he need?
He needs 135 yards per game the next 3 games, I think.
Oh. If he comes close, if he played the Giants last game of the season, and if he's close, do you think he will play? But we don't have, number one, we don't have any need to play him.
I think the team will let him decide if he wants to play.
Especially because it's against the Giants. So imagine him breaking the record against the Giants.
Yeah. I think that they recognize accolades, and even there was that game where he could have set a new career high against, I think it was against the Giants, and they asked him if he wanted to go back in for a few more carries, and he said no, he wanted to win. So they left that decision up to him, and he chose not to do it. So I can see the team asking him if he would want to play, but I could also see him saying, no, I don't want to because I want to win a Super Bowl or I want to be healthy for the playoffs. So I don't think he's going to do it just because of the position that we're in. It's a tall task, 130 plus on average in the next few games, but
unless he gets like over 300 yards in the next 2 games, all he needs is like under 100 yards against the Giants, then he could.
Yeah. I don't think he will, but yeah,
it would be nice.
Yeah, the Steelers shutting him down kind of didn't really help his case, but I don't know. He won for 255 against the Rams, so it doesn't really matter, I guess.
He could go off against the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Washington, I don't know because it's on the road, but against the Cowboys, he could.
Yeah, that's true.
The next 2 games will determine if he plays in Week 18 because I don't think we're going to get number 1 seed unless the Lions just completely fall off and lose the next 3 games. And Vikings could actually get it, but yeah. What's next? Our Week 16 fantasy players. I have Aaron Jones, and you have AJ Brown. I think Aaron Jones could go off on this week. Would the Vikings play?
I forget who the Vikings play. Who do they play?
Let me see. Vikings play. Oh, no, that's right. They play Seahawks. But you saw what Jacobs did to them, so that's why I think Aaron Jones could go off.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good pick.
They're almost the same type of back. Thursday night bets. I have under 42.5, and you have Broncos covering plus 2.5, right?
Yep.
In our Week 15 bets, Buccaneers 3.5 and Seahawks. I have Seahawks plus 3. No, you have Seahawks plus 3. I have Buccaneers 3.5. I think that's it. Anything to add? I don't think we'll do a show next week because it's Christmas week, but we'll be back the following week, I think. She'll be home next week too, so.
Yeah, we can do a live one.
Yep. Yeah, we could do that. Well, for Money and Chris, we're out of here. Later, Chris.
Yeah, talk to you later.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, there's no there's no wrestling show this week. Me and Doug will be doing a Win Tunes Combined, so check that out on Saturday. Time to be determined. I think maybe 7:00, but I'll have to ask him. But I'll be doing college football in probably an hour or so live, and for part 2 of bowl picks. And later.